Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dias Cast. I am Russell Song. With me, I have.
Fishman.
When last we left off, Aquans and Jonas had set out from the plateau and the village of Lakeside, the their home and place of their childhood, which they had returned to after their triumph in Vern's Run. After visiting with their family, they set out along the path and, in short order, came across a castle in the sky, supported on a cloud island, populated with harpies and gargoyles, and ruled over by a cloud giant whom they decided to slightly reenact the fairy tale of Jack and the Beanstalk with.
Minus the beanstalk.
Yes. So the giant came crashing down to Earth, and shortly after that, so did his castle and everything inside it, thoroughly destroying anything that was left in there.
We saved the wyvern.
We saved a wind drake. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where we left off last time. We were about to set up camp for a long rest, and I'll turn it over to you.
All right. If you want to roll a survival check, we'll see how nice this camp is.
All right. Well, with your advantage, is
Yep.
this? So this is just survival.
Yep.
14.
Not the best camp we've ever had,
No.
but perfectly fine.
Well, I do not have survival as a skill.
No, that's okay. So we settle down. It's late afternoon, early evening. Have a meal. Is there anything you want to do? You are down a fair number of hit points.
Yes, there's that. A long rest isn't going to get us back up to full.
Not you.
I have 10 regular healing potions. I think I'll drink one.
All right.
All right, and that heals me up 7 hit points.
All right. So you're down 13.
Yes, that brings me up to 81 out of 94 hit points.
All right. Well, a long, nice, quiet evening. It should help quite a bit.
Yes,
One thing I want to do before hitting the hay is I need to resummon my owl. It had a rough encounter last time.
yes.
So I've already rolled the hit points for it. It takes an hour and 10 minutes. And not that it's going to help any. She has 3 hit points.
Raises the odds of surviving.
That's better than one. But yeah. So I now have a familiar again.
Yep. I'm pretty good for the moment on preparations. I prepared a lot of scrolls and stuff, and I scribed the fly spell into my spell book because we left our brooms of flying on the plateau just in case of an emergency for them.
Yeah. So we settle down for the night.
Yes, I guess I'll take first watch.
Let's ask that. Go for it.
I'll summon Alice, have her sit in my lap while we take our walk. Two 13s. So that would be a total of 20,
Well, let's see if
regardless which die I use.
let's just see if there's actually anything for you to notice.
Yep.
Not a thing. You have a very quiet night.
All right.
That's as far away from an encounter as you can get on that die.
All right. So that was either a 1 or a 20, depending on which one you use.
So,
I guess I'll wake you for your watch
yep.
and take my rest.
And I have a 16.
Still good.
Uh, a few things go wandering by in the night, but nothing of note. Certainly nothing I want to wake you up for.
Yes.
This is we currently, for those just tuning in, We are between here and the Elvish lands, but we're really
Yeah,
close
not
to.
far from the plateau.
Yeah.
We can still probably see it in the distance.
Oh yeah, we can still see it when we're
Yeah.
on top of a hill.
This is probably about our third day of travel from there.
Yeah. And also to refresh people's memory, walking, this took 2 weeks.
Yes.
So we're looking at about the same length of time to get to here
Yeah, possibly a bit more depending on the terrain.
and encounters and stuff. So yeah.
And just getting lost.
Well, we'll worry about that in the morning because we can't get lost while we're sleeping. So the night goes by. We are currently in rolling, hilly grassland mostly, with patches of trees and uh, nothing really beyond grazing animals like deer, the odd herd of horses, and yeah, obviously a few predators too, but nothing of that's going to bother us really. Nothing that can penetrate the hut.
Yeah, obviously we did took this long rest with our usual magical precautions.
Yeah. So dawn breaks.
So we
Uh,
get our long rest.
we get our long rest. I am now at full hit points again. I only lost three. And it's time to get up for our daily meal and ablutions, mark off a day's worth of food. And oh, yeah, I already marked that off. I would like you to roll when you're ready a survival check for figuring out which direction to head in.
All right. Just a heads up, I have changed my spell list around a little bit.
Yeah, what to change into.
Well, I dropped web because it hasn't been very useful of late, and I decided to prepare fly to give that a try sometime.
Cool.
And I also swapped out dispel magic for the moment because we don't seem to be running into an awful lot of magic users out here in the wilderness, and I decided to put pre-prepare locate object. So I just swapped some things around a little bit.
So you have locate object prepared?
I do, yes.
All right.
All right,
Well,
and I regained 6 hit points. That brings you up to 87. And you said you wanted a survival check.
yes, I will not swap any spells around because I know what I need.
Natural 20.
All right. We are
Off to a good start.
beelining it. As I said, um, as we get up in the morning and we start wandering, we notice, like I said, patches of trees. There are deer about. We do see, the odd horse, that sort of thing. And they're they're not so much really, really timid of us, but they definitely keep the distance. They're not coming anywhere near us. So all this stuff is at a distance. We do see things. Every now and then we see a lone wolf. We haven't seen any packs of wolves since we left the plateau, but they exist, we know.
Mhm.
And again, yeah, it's very quiet. And let's just see what kind of day we have. It is cloudless. Wow, this is a bright, sunny morning. So yeah, and it's late spring now, so well, actually getting almost the beginning of summer. So yeah, this is a beautiful day. As we wander along, not a whole lot is happening. It's very quiet and calm, which is a contrast to some things that we've seen.
Yes.
All right, in the distance, not very far away, about an hour's walk, we start seeing there's a bit of a hill rise, and along the top of it, there's a whole pile of trees, like almost like a line of them. Seems to be coming into a much more wooded area.
Yeah. Well, we passed one of those yesterday.
Yeah. So as we go up the hill, we pass through some trees. We see this. We are at the bottom of the picture.
Okay.
We're just coming up on top of a hill. You can see there's sort of like a ring of trees. And we see a large, not quite bowl shaped. It's more flat than anything else, but this is a large valley.
with a
From
large crater.
yeah, from here or any of these all the way across is about 2 miles.
Okay, so this is huge.
This is a huge, could have been an old impact crater, who knows? But there does seem to be in the distance. Well, actually, just before I give you too much detail, roll a perception check. You can have advantage.
All right. Perception is a total of 20.
All right. You see a, well, actually, what really does look like from this distance, I mean, keep in mind that that is a mile away that you're looking at this.
Yeah.
It looks like a large crater. Could have been caused by, well, I don't know, maybe a giant's castle landing on it, but no. It,
No, that would be behind us.
yeah. So yeah, it is. Looks like something may have impacted the Earth there at some point in time. There's nothing growing in it that you can see from here, but it is again a long way away. And ringed around it from, well, basically encircling the entire thing, as you can see here, seems to be a bunch of houses and, well, it seems to be a village.
Okay, so I see people moving about. This isn't like a ghost town.
You rolled a total of 20, you said?
Yes.
You do not see anyone at the moment.
Okay, so
It is a mile away.
well, I'll fill you in on what I see about the massive crater and the potential ghost town.
Yep. One thing, well, again, because you rolled a 20, one
Yeah,
thing you notice, there are no crops.
yeah, which might I mean it is spring.
Yeah, but there should be, fences and, at least furrows and the possibly sprouts coming up. There should be some sign of some sort of agriculture, and you do not see any. The other thing
Right.
you don't see because you rolled so high is there are no apparent like barn structures for livestock, anything like that. All you see are what look like houses, houses for people.
All right, but I don't see any people or movement. And all this is adding up to the fact that my ghost town theory might be panning out a bit more.
Well, you already rolled a 20,
Yeah,
but it's so far away.
yeah.
Uh, if we're a nat 20, I will give you more detail on the condition of the buildings. But for the moment, nothing looks untoward towards you except for the fact there's no movement.
All right. Well, this is unusual, but before we go in there and get a closer look, maybe we should get a closer look at a distance first. I'd hate to put your owl at risk just after we summoned her.
Just got her back.
Yeah, or I could cast clairvoyance, which will take 10 minutes and cost a spell. So,
No, obviously the owl is the better approach.
yes.
All right, I conjure Alice out of her rest.
Alice is my familiar.
Oh, sorry, conjure my. I gotta give my owl a name one of these days. All right, I conjure her
Yep,
and point to the village and say, "Can you just go fly there, do a little once around, and come back,
yep.
and I'll have a look through your eyes." Well, that is a total of 20 as well. All right, I have a sit by a tree and I listen and I look through her eyes,
All
and this is what I tell you.
right.
I'm actually going to roll an intelligence check too on top of that. Sorry. Oh, apparently I'm wide awake. As she gets closer, I tell you a couple things. First off, the buildings look immaculate.
Okay, so not run down or damaged.
No, there's doesn't look like there's any kind of let's say catastrophic event, like maybe that crater blasted stuff or something.
So it doesn't look like a meteor hit, despite the fact it looks like a meteor hit.
Yeah, it looks like something hit here and basically killed everybody, or uh, they all left. None of that. There's definitely a crater there. It is. There's nothing growing in the center of it, and it is fairly deep. The buildings are, like I said, immaculate. There is no sign of anybody, no sign of any living creatures at all.
Okay, a pristine ghost town.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
All right,
She flies
and
back.
your owls come back now.
Yeah. And I stand up and I say, one other thing I noticed.
All right.
Most towns have a layout, a reason. Like buildings are,
Yeah,
uh,
there's some sort of organization or structure.
yeah, some kind of like a market area, housing district, maybe like a mayor's building and fountains, all that sort of stuff. None of that. Just a bunch of buildings.
So you mean to tell me someone's took, by looks of it, 13 buildings in the middle of nowhere around a crater?
That would be an accurate summation.
Yeah. Oh, just question.
Hmm.
We've examined this. Are the number of buildings accurate?
Yes, that is
Uh,
exactly how many buildings
so there
there
are
are.
13.
Why, it's superstitious now?
No, but it's not necessarily superstition when you live in the world that we live in.
True enough.
All right. Well, this is curious, but it's also setting off a bunch of alarm bells in my head.
All right.
So we should probably go take a look, but we should also be cautious because this
When are we
probably,
not cautious?
yeah. Just thought if I don't say it, it doesn't happen.
All right.
Uh,
Do you want to cast any spells before we head down into this possible whatever?
yes, I'm going to take out my arcane grimoire, flip through its pages, and cast Mage Armor myself. So pages of energy will adhere to me to give myself a bit of extra protection.
All right. I, on the other hand, am not going to cast any spells. I'm just going to boldly walk forward.
Yeah, well, none of my other spells are going to be immediately useful.
Okay.
Are you staying bipedal this time for the moment?
Yeah, for the moment.
Yeah. All right, I am going to stride forward with my staff in one hand and my arcane grimoire at the ready in the other hand, though not like open and ready to unleash spells. Or I just want it on hand just in case we do have to get into combat or something.
All right.
Okay. So after I cast my abjuration and magic upon myself, let's head down to this valley, this vast valley.
It is very large, and you can't really see it because of the graphic here. But there is a fair amount initially of a decline. We're going downhill. I'd say from the top of the hill where we're, surveying everything to uh, the actually where the valley begins is a good 50-foot drop.
Okay.
Doesn't sound like a lot. That isn't really. We're not having any difficulty walking. It's
No,
just,
but it's steeper than what we've dealt with.
yeah. And the other thing we notice as we get down into it, it is getting decidedly cooler.
All right.
We are going from what I would call a really, well, warm, not hot, warm late spring day. And now we're getting into coolness. It's not getting close to zero, but we dropped at least a good 10 degrees.
All right. This is again, the ghost town theory is starting to look more and more plausible. I think we might want to have your owl flying around just overhead, just in case, just so in case she can warn us of anything that we might miss ourselves.
Easily done. So all we've done so far
Yeah.
is went down this hill and we're about here.
Yeah. Well, let's head towards the town and the crater because those seem to be the only things of note.
Okay. I would like you to, as we got to that point now,
Mhm.
roll a perception check. You can have advantage because we got everybody's out. Well,
Yeah.
actually, is your cat out?
Sorry?
Is your cat out? Is Alice out?
Alice is not out at the moment, but
Okay. Still
everyone
in.
else is.
Yeah.
That would be 25.
All right. What would you notice with that? Very
I
high.
assume a great deal.
Yes. Okay, you notice two things.
Mhm.
First off, um, there seems to be as we're just this is as we're beginning to progress a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, there seems to be dew on the grass, which is unusual because the sun's up.
Yeah.
And also there seems to be a little like very wispy bits of mist. Not much, but you figure like it's if we woke up at you know say 4 or 5 in the morning before the sun comes up, we would expect this sort of environment, but
Okay.
not after the sun's come up. The
Yeah.
other thing to notice, because Alice, I really do need to give her a name. My owl is flying around over us.
Mhm.
She is a little bit obscured.
All right. And this was not visible from where we were before.
No, this is something new.
All right. Well, this is starting to pan out my a little bit. Like I said, my theories are about this valley being more than it seemed are bearing fruit, it looks like.
Yep.
If I look back the way we came, can I still see like the entrance to this little valley or whatever? Right. That may
You
not.
roll a 25 and you are looking around.
Yes.
One thing you do notice is the far side of the valley uh, seems to be a bit obscured now because there seems to be a bit more mist in that direction.
All right then. Well, this is a little spooky, but we dealt with worst.
Just don't take the time of the year into account and you'll be fine.
Time of year and time of day into account.
I was referring to the real world time of year.
Oh,
That's okay. So, continue.
yes.
All right. As we continue, the mist starts to get thicker. To the point now where by the time we get about here,
We're not very far in.
no, we haven't gone very far at all yet. This is like it is a mile from here to there. So we've only been walking maybe 20 minutes. And at this point, your feet now are hidden in mist. As
Okay.
you move your feet, you see the mist is moving. Once you can swirl it around, and you see the grass and everything beneath it. It is still quite damp. Other than that, yeah, you see mist.
All right. Well, again, this is unusual, but there's nothing really dangerous at the moment.
No,
No.
you don't. Well, it's up to you whether you feel nervous or not. But there's nothing attacking us. There's nothing. There are actually. Roll another perception check. Just a straight one for yourself.
Oh, now I'm starting to roll badly. 13.
That's still fine out here. You know how when you're uh, in fog, like an actual fog,
Yeah, it deadens sound a little bit.
them's the sound. And what you notice is there doesn't seem to be any sound. Like before we went in here, we had wind blowing through leaves, birds chirping, all the stuff you'd notice that would be, perfectly normal for this time of year.
Yes. All
Quiet,
right. No animal life.
nothing.
Again, not a good sign.
Something has possibly uh, either scared everything off or killed everything.
All right. Well, let us proceed with caution.
All right.
If this fog gets much thicker, we might need to hold hands or tie ourselves together to just avoid getting lost.
One thing I mentioned to you as we're walking along is my connection to my owl seems to be getting a little tenuous.
Okay, yep, that's concerning.
I'm going to unsummon her.
Okay,
Do you want to try and summon Alice?
sure, I'll try summoning her.
Where do you want her to appear?
Just beside me, by my feet.
Yep. She shows up. No problem.
All right. Did your familiar unsummon?
Yes.
All right.
I can resummon her if you like.
In here, but I'm not sure how much use that's going to be anymore.
Well,
I suspect there's some sort of magic separating this valley from the outside in some way, and that's what was interfering with your connection.
do an Arcana check, please.
That is very high. That's a 28.
You roll a 19.
Yes, one lower than I can roll. Hi.
You, without casting magic, detect magic, know that there's magic here.
Yes.
You can feel it on your skin. All right.
All
So,
right, so we wandered into some sort of enchanted and possibly cursed and haunted valley.
something.
Then again, we spent several days and nights on a fog-covered, cursed and haunted island
Yeah,
already.
that's with mutants and zombies and everything else attacking us every 5 seconds.
Yes, this is tame by comparison.
Yeah. We're not exactly spooked.
No. All right.
So
However,
I'm gonna
because
I'm gonna unsummon Owl.
you're owl, yes.
Unsummon my owl. What do you want to do with Alice?
I will unsummon her as well. Also,
Uh,
how thick is the fog getting at this point?
we haven't gone anywhere yet. We're still standing here.
All right. Let me know if it gets any thicker as we proceed towards this town or village.
All right. I would like you to roll a straight perception check.
Oh, that's bad. That is bad. 9.
Okay. You don't really notice anything. We proceed.
I presume I will notice that the fog starts to get thicker.
One would hope,
Yeah.
yes.
I didn't roll
About,
a 1. It was close.
about 5 minutes into this,
Yes.
as we are going further, we're about halfway there now. It's about knee height,
All
the
right. So it's
fog.
getting higher and thicker.
Yeah. You can't see your feet at all. And no matter how much waving you do, you can't actually see your feet.
All right. It's not dispersed easily then.
No. Oh, that's a natural one. I won't tell you a thing.
Well, unless you want to cast Gust of Wind, which is not the best idea given the circumstances.
Well, not yet, anyway.
No. How is our visibility? Getting worse and worse, I assume?
Yes. All right. Even though you rolled really poorly,
Yeah.
and I rolled a natural one,
Yes.
we are noticing that it is harder to see the buildings now. So we're just over halfway there. So these buildings are now somewhat obscured.
All right. So we can still see the buildings and we can still see each other for the moment.
Yes.
All right. If this gets much thicker, we're going to have to take some security precautions just to ensure we don't get separated.
All right. Oh, by the way, the other thing you can't see anymore is the opposite side of the valley.
Yeah, I was expecting that though.
All right.
Can we see the sky if we look up? All
It's
right.
actually getting darker. You rolled really low.
Okay. So, as in darker as in there's less light, not darker as in I see a night sky if I look up.
Darker as in there seems to be some haze up there
Yes.
blocking the perfectly clear sunny day that we had.
Yeah, well, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not like we aren't aware that there's some sort of magic at work here at the moment.
Sure enough.
Yeah. Which does mean we don't have to waste time casting Detect Magic. I think it's pretty obvious at this point.
Okay. What do you
Well,
want?
let us proceed for the time being.
All right. We continue walking.
Yep.
The fog, the thick fog around our knees, doesn't change any.
Okay.
But what we notice now is there's a wispy sort of a fog permeating everywhere. It goes above our heads and um, kind of obscures a little bit. It's not like the fog that's down around our feet.
Yeah.
It is, you can see enough through it
Mhm.
that you're not going to, run to a building or something. But you can't see your feet.
No. So we might trip over something.
Yeah. And we are currently about here.
All right, we're almost there. We can still see each other, I presume.
Yeah. There's no, so far, there seems to be no danger of us losing sight of each other.
All right. Well, let's proceed with caution and continue.
All right. And I'll move on because something else is going to happen. This is basically what we have. The buildings are still, they are quiet. They look, as you see here, uh, still nobody moving around at all. I will ask you for, because of the fog now, a straight perception check, please.
All right. I'm rolling well again. 26.
You hear movement.
All right. And it's not us.
Well, no, one assumes when you're listening for something, you take a quick break and, crane your ears and try and detect any sort of sounds. You hear the sound of what you would think it would be someone moving around inside a building.
All right. So based on that, I assume it's going to be coming from the nearest building.
Roll an intelligence check because sound is weird in fog.
13.
You're not sure. It may be close by, but sound can bounce off buildings, dampened by fog. You're not sure whether it was a loud sound that's been dampened or a quieter sound that is nearer. Don't know.
All right. Well, so where are we at the moment in all this?
We are roughly a couple 100 feet away from this building here.
All right. Well, since we're going to need something to steer by in this mist, especially if it gets any thicker than this, let's try and head towards that building.
Okay, we do so. As we get closer,
Yeah.
things
Okay.
all of a sudden seem to look a little different.
A little.
All of a sudden, those nice, pristine buildings now look totally run down, as in they've been here for centuries.
Okay. I look around for the signpost that says "Welcome to Silent Hill."
No signposts,
No.
none. It is very quiet at the moment. You can try another perception check if you like.
19.
You do hear movement.
All right.
Not a single source either.
Yep. Well, I'm starting to trust this place less and less. So clearly, what you saw with your owl was an illusion.
Probably, yeah.
Unless this is the illusion, but I'm more inclined to believe this.
Okay, so we have a collection of buildings. The number hasn't changed, by the way, even though I think
Yes, I'm pretty sure there are fewer houses now.
yeah, they're still the same number,
All right.
and they are just more or less run down.
All right.
We are
I
now
assume.
within about a good stone throw away from the closest one.
All right. So I assume I still have a good idea where that one building is.
This is an odd thing. I guess I should explain this a bit better, I guess. There's a basically an entire sheet of fog.
Yep.
You can't see the crater anymore.
Why do I get a distinct feeling that that's where the fog's coming from?
You can see the buildings basically from knee height up.
Yep.
Everything seems to be, this is weird. This is the weird aspect of this. The fog is not, you know, it doesn't seem to be consistent. You can see this building as clearly as you can see that building.
Yeah. But I cannot see the crater.
No, it is now filled with fog, you assume.
Yeah. However, I think I have a roughly good idea where it is. It's in the middle of all these buildings.
Yeah, it seems to be relatively straightforward where it is.
All right, the same building that we've been heading towards. Let's try and head there at the moment because that's at least a landmark to guide by.
All right, so we do so. I would like one more final perception check from you, please.
Okay, still straight roll.
Yep, already
Okay.
has
At
lots
least it's
bar.
not disadvantage.
Yeah,
Okay, 16.
yeah. You can hear multiple movements now.
Okay, so I assume that we're nearing the bottom two house buildings at this point.
Yeah, and we are going to click over one more image.
Wow.
As we get to that building,
Oh, wow. This looks even worse.
all when we get there, when we finally get to the point where we can actually touch the building, all we see is a foundation, fallen rubble. Inside is what you'd expect from a derelict building that's been around for centuries, and nothing else. And it's
Okay,
perfectly quiet, except for the odd bit of movement in some of these buildings, which still sounds exactly the same.
still sounds exactly the same, but they've looked completely different now.
Yep, there's enough foundation.
Yeah.
It's basically, about chest height on the average height person in places. Of course, it's lower in other places and non-existent in some places. There's no roofs, but there's basically, you know, places you can take cover in, but nothing you can go inside. So you can see the foundations and walls and rough stonework of the entire circle, but you can't see anything else.
All right. Well, so we're right beside this building now.
Yeah, we can reach out and touch it.
All right. Well, we may not want to do that. It might fall apart.
All right.
Where is that sound of movement coming from? Not from this house?
That will require a survival check because it's really difficult to discern where sounds are actually coming from.
Survival? 7.
You're not sure. You rolled fairly high on your perception check. Uh, you don't think it was coming from this building.
All right. Well, do you want to take a look inside this building to see if there are any clues at all?
Sure.
All right.
All right. So
Step inside, which should not be difficult.
we can easily go around here. All right. Once we get inside,
Follows, we cannot see anything on the ground, really.
we can't see the ground. One thing we notice
Mhm.
is there was no change in the feel of the ground from outside the building to inside the building.
So no floor, really.
There doesn't seem to be a like a wooden floor. It doesn't seem to be a stone floor. Uh, Everything seems to be like dirt. And there is every now and then we'll stumble a bit because we'll trip over a piece of rock or something that we can't see underneath the fog.
All right.
But one thing I want you to keep in mind, as long as you are proceeding cautiously, you will not require any dex checks.
All right. Well, I don't know how much light is going to help in here.
It is, well, as this graphic is showing, a lot, not dark, but it is now kind of like twilight.
Yeah.
It's dim. And then, yeah, if you look up, all you see is fog.
Yeah, so it's solid overcast, literally.
Yep. And
So,
any direction you look in, all you can see are these buildings. There's nothing else to see.
hmm. Well, I know shape water. I don't think it affects fog, despite fog being water vapor. I don't think that spell covers that, and unless you want to bust out gust of wind and blast some of this fog out of here in one direction.
Awful lot of fog.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
but that spell does clear it out normally.
yep. Roll an Arcana check. Like not like yeah, an Arcana check. It's fine.
Natural one.
You have no idea.
Well, I'm positive this isn't fog cloud because I know that spell. It would need to be cast at an exceptionally high level to cover the entire valley, and the fog is consistent, not
Yeah,
diffuse and spread out as this has been.
yeah. And the other thing you notice, of course, is it's cooler, even
Yes.
still.
But that can happen if there's enough fog. It blocks out
Yeah,
sunlight.
yep, it's damp. Yeah, there's nothing on it. There actually is probably what the only normal thing that you've noticed so far.
Yes.
All right, you do now hear something a little bit different.
All right.
You don't even need to roll a perception check for this. There is someone or something across the village, so on the other side of the crater, who's really not happy.
So I assume
He's
you mean like screaming.
more like bellowing and rage.
All
And
right.
every now and then you hear what sounds like a rock being picked up and smashed against more rocks.
Okay, so someone's having a bad day.
Someone is not very happy about all this. Once that dies down, something different happens.
All right.
You hear it's kind of weird because the fog up to this point has been kind of even. But all of a sudden, it sort of shimmers a little bit, and you get the impression of, well, kind of like harmonics, like it's resonating, and a voice chimes out. And it's kind of a, well, I don't know if it's musical, but anyway, it is not like that bellowing rage you just, roar you just heard. And it says to you, there is a murderer amongst you. Survive, and you'll be free. Be killed by the murderer, and obviously you will not see another day.
Apart from the obviousness of that statement, I think there's a okay. So we've not wandered into Silent Hill. We've wandered into some sort of survival game.
At that pronouncement, that bellowing rage you hear re-intensifies, and you also hear a number of other sounds. There are, this will require a perception check.
14.
You can tell by that that depending upon, actually, no, you can tell from that that there are at least three, well, two or yeah, about three other individuals in here who are just really not happy because, well, like us, they don't want to be here,
Hmm.
and they are voicing their disgust.
Well, to be fair, we haven't actually tried to leave yet.
No, we have not.
Well, so much for searching this place. I have a feeling we're not going to find many clues.
All right. What I am going to do now is roll a few numbers.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, you Yeah, possibly. Oh, there we go. We got a winner. Oh, two winners. All right. Off to our right.
Right. So
To the very next building to our right.
yeah. So
So
towards us in the
over this way.
yeah.
Maybe a little bit this way. We see a humanoid creature stumbling around, looking over the walls, and seems to have spotted us.
Okay.
He is uncertain of what to do. He's looking at us. Let's see which one actually it is that's nearest us. Hold on a sec. Just double check so I don't get anything wrong. All right. He was initially, crouched down looking over the wall. He saw beside him this um, pole sticking up and looked like some kind of bladed weapon on top of it.
Oh no.
And then he looks to the left, like he's almost listening to something. And then right beside him on the wall, let's just say for argument's sake that
Use
he
this.
use this. He's right about here, looking over the wall, and all of a sudden, hopping up on right beside him is a very diminutive humanoid. Um, Looks maybe like a halfling. It's hard to say. Points at us and says, "They're the murderers. Go get them!" And then hops down off the wall. At
Oh.
which point he stands up to his full height because he was crouching, and he looks to be about 8 feet tall.
Okay.
Uh, he's far enough away in the fog that you can't tell actually what race he is, but he looks human, and he's wearing um, basically what you would really call like if you saw just your average person wandering around in town like Vern's Run, just regular clothes. But he does have what looks like a really tall pole arm.
And he's 8 feet tall, which the average person is not.
Yeah. And he steps over the wall and is coming towards us. What would you like to do?
Well, he spotted us, so my initial plan was to have you turn us invisible. This is
We
a bit
could,
late.
well, no, it's still, I mean, the fog is truly disorienting, so it might work.
Yeah, we would still probably need to break line of sight with him.
Well, we do have lots of rubble and walls and stuff that we can dodge around. This is not like one completely open field kind of
Yeah.
thing. It is possible.
Yeah. The problem is that smaller humanoid, the halfling will go for the moment, basically pointed in our direction and sent this guy after us.
Yeah,
So claiming that we would be the murderers.
yeah,
If we kill this person and even defending ourselves, we're kind of proving that person right. And we heard multiple voices, so
yeah.
I suspect we're not the only ones here.
All right.
So that's a bit of an issue.
The building next to him, you see a head sticking up over a wall, watching and seeing what's going to happen here.
Do I think this is the same? Too difficult to tell, I guess. Same
Hmm?
person. Do I think this is the same person
The
I saw
halfling
pop up on the wall?
roll perception.
Is it just a straight roll, or do I have disadvantage?
Uh, Basically because there's two of us,
Yeah.
all of our advantages are being canceled out.
All
So
right. Well, that makes it a 24 then.
it is not the same individual.
All right. So there's at least three of us, three other people here.
Yep. And because you rolled so high,
Yeah.
This individual also seems to have some kind of pole arm.
Okay, I think we might be being given weapons here to fight.
Hard to say, but we do seem to have, well, first off,
Mm,
8 foot tall guy striding towards us at this moment.
yes.
Another guy 2 buildings over, watching to see what happens. A halfling like character who popped up,
Pointed fingers at us and accused.
ratted us out, and then disappeared. And then we did hear other sounds of other people or things or whatever.
All right. I think avoiding combat at the moment is the best option.
All right, so what do you want to do?
I think we should move around to the basically like around the wall that we're in to back outside, so we're behind a wall at the moment.
Okay, currently we're standing here.
Yeah.
He is currently here, heading towards us.
Yes.
So you want to go out and
And
around
back
this wall?
around, basically loop around this wall. And once we're out of sight, I would like you to make us both invisible.
All right, I will do so.
Yeah.
First spell for me cast today, third level invisibility.
Yes.
I would like you to roll a stealth check with advantage, and I'll do the same.
Yeah, I imagine we might have stealth advantage on stealth regardless, just in these conditions.
Yeah. Ooh, that's really bad.
17.
I have 15. All right, somebody's looking for us.
Mhm.
Somebody's looking for us in fog by themselves.
Yes.
They have disadvantage. So that would be that number. And what do you have for? Okay, this is what happens. We duck around here.
Yeah.
I cast invisibility. Are we staying here?
No, I want
The only thing you can see currently
is this
from where
building.
we are is the building to the left and this guy on the right.
All right.
And of course, you can see all the other buildings in the other way.
Yes.
You actually can go to any building you want.
Well, I want to try and maneuver around this building at the moment, keeping this person in sight and just trying to avoid getting too close to them.
Okay, so what you want to do is
Basically,
just
circle
circle
the
around
building and try and avoid them.
as they head across. Okay.
Yes.
So right now we'll stay here then.
Yeah.
He strides along, steps over this wall with ease, and it's a bit shorter here,
Mhm.
and then seems to look around. He seems to have lost track of us.
Well,
And
yeah.
he takes his huge polearm and swings it at about chest height. Seeing he's not a complete moron, apparently, but we are nowhere near him. All right, what else are you gonna do? Hmm. He seems to be just trying to sense where we are, listening, sniffing, waving his glaive every now and then. That's about it.
Yes. I thought it was going to be a glaive.
Yeah. And then gives up. Decides, yeah, he decides to take the door. Heads up this way. Looks left, looks right,
Mhm.
spots the other guy watching,
Yeah.
and starts going that way.
All right. I whisper to you, which should be easy in this fog.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should try following and see where this goes.
All right. I would like fresh stealth checks, please. That is horrible. You die, can go away.
21.
Uh, well, that means that we average out about 15,
Okay.
which is fine. Uh, for the moment, attention is elsewhere. So I am going to see. Yeah, he doesn't see squat. He doesn't see squat. Hmm, you might. All right. He heads towards that. Well, another derelict building,
Yes.
slightly different shape. Won't bother. I didn't bother making graphics for all of
No. This works fine.
them. Yeah. And as the individual that he's heading towards realizes that he seems to be striding towards him with purpose, he also stands up because he was crouching down too. He's not as tall. He's a bit taller than you, but he also has what looks to be a glaive.
Okay.
And at this point, as they're heading towards each other, that little diminutive character pops up on the wall and says, "No, no, 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 it's them," pointing towards where we were, not where we are, where we were.
Okay, so they can't see us, but this halfling seems convinced that we're the murderers.
Yep. And then those two characters both look at the halfling, and I would like you to roll an insight check.
Right? 23.
They look really annoyed at this little thing, and they both decide to take a swing at him.
Okay.
All right. One of them, the 8 foot tall guy, takes his glaive, swings. It looks like he's going to cut the little halfling in half. And just as it passes through, you see wisps of mist, and there's nothing there.
All right. Yep.
And at that point, they're both really not happy now, and they are going to go at it.
Okay, so they are fighting despite the fact.
Yep. They're not very good at this, you seem to notice initially.
Hmm.
They're not like really doing much in the way of anything at all until finally one of them, after about 30 seconds of this sort of dancing almost, finally connects with their that massive weapon. What is up my 20 siders? I tell you, they don't want to roll anything these today. Gotta go on for the rest of the night. Okay. After about not quite a minute, you notice that they're they're parrying, they're dodging, they're doing really quite well. The second shorter individual seems to be starting to get the worst of it. And after, like I said, about not quite a minute, but you're looking at about 7, 8 rounds of this. He's starting to look kind of bloodied, and he's getting kind of a panicked look on his face. The other guy is looking like triumphantly at him.
Mhm.
Before we go further, is there anything you want to do?
Uh, so if we go into that other building and try and see where that halfling-like figure or whatever it actually is meant to be is, and see if it's still there or if it's just gone.
All right.
Because I
Um,
assume that is whatever is actually behind this or orchestrating this.
So, this building where we originally started, we've passed that one, went to the second building,
Yeah.
and we're watching this battle take place, which is in the third building, and
Yes.
that's where the halfling was.
The third building or the second one?
The third one. He initially was in the second one,
Yeah.
but then hopped up on the wall in the third one, telling them, no, no, go after them. And that's when they swung at him and he disappeared.
All right. Well, let's get closer to the building so we can see if we can find this thing or see if it pops up again.
All right. I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
21.
You don't see any sign of him. All right. This battle's been going on a little while. I'm gonna check a few more things. You do hear the sound of something moving. The and you look in that direction. You see a truly tall individual standing there, has a rather large rock in his hands. He seems to be grinning at this point because he's enjoying this little spectacle. And he is across the way a bit. And he decides to throw that rock at these guys. It's actually not a bad shot,
Hmm.
but it's at long range, so it doesn't quite get to where it needs to go, and it shatters on the ground. Startles these guys, at
Yeah.
which point we gotta see what this guy's gonna do. All right. The one that seems to be getting the worst of this battle decides to run away. The other one's going to try to swing on his back
Yeah.
and misses. And the other guy's going to try and hide. Whoa, natural 20 on hiding. Finally rolled a good number. The other guy, the smaller of the two, the one that's bloodied now,
Yeah.
jumps over a wall and all of a sudden just can't find him. The other guy is really not happy with that. Looking around, looks everywhere, can't see him. That's where we're at.
All right then. Well, this is getting us nowhere quickly.
Sure enough.
I got this thing feeling that all these buildings are relatively the same, and well, I don't feel like playing whatever twisted game the who whoever has set this up is playing.
Hmm.
I get the distinct feeling that all the buildings are irrelevant and the people here are captives, or if they're real or not. They seem to be more than willing to go along with this at the moment.
It would seem so.
I think the main thing we need to do is try and find that crater, which was in the middle of all this and seemed to be where the fog was coming from.
Okay.
And I think that might be where we need to actually look into something that's going on. So let's try and see if we can find that.
All right. So we are now, this is the original building.
Yeah,
We are now one building over, standing here.
yeah.
And if we walk this way, we
Should run into the.
hopefully not literally.
Yeah. I'm going to use my staff
Yep.
to feel the ground ahead of me as I walk.
All right. I would like you to roll two rolls. First, stealth with advantage.
All right, 24.
Okay. I will do the same. Oh, yeah. We're very stealthy.
Yeah,
And then I would like you to roll a straight dexterity check because we're going to be hanging on to each other.
yeah.
And this would be our group ability not to fall down a hole.
7.
Oh, that's not good. All right. It was hard to tell from back there how far from the inside of the buildings to the crater was.
Mhm.
And also, what we saw back then is not what is actually here. That all said,
Mhm.
we come across the crater, or what lip seems to be a depression, uh, and it surprises us. I would like you to roll a straight dexterity saving throw, please, and I'll do the same.
All right, I rolled a 14.
Okay. You're not quite high enough to keep yourself from tumbling forward, but fortunately, my 23 is more than sufficient, and I grab hold of you as well. Um, I keep you from falling down what looks like not really a cliff, but a very, very steep incline. All right. We are now what we think at the edge of a precipice that might be going down into what was the center of this crater.
I assume we can't make any details.
Can't see anything. From the knees down,
Yeah,
you're basically blind.
we're invisible for the moment.
Yep. Hold on a sec. Some more stuff's gonna be happening. That's different. There seems to be another player involved here at this point. An individual we haven't seen yet. As we're looking around, we notice just on the other side of the crater a fairly tall individual. I'd say somewhere between 7 and 8 feet,
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of them at the moment.
moving through the mist, not walking. Well, the legs and the arms are doing what you would think they should do, but it's more like Dracula Dead and Loving with the two sirens. They seem to be almost like they're almost like he's on a skateboard or something.
He's gliding through over the ground.
Yeah, instead of the usual, stepping. And
Yeah.
seems to be heading towards the other truly tall individual that threw the rock, who is still just standing there. Has picked up another chunk of rock
Mhm.
and wasn't hasn't really decided what to do with it yet. It's only been maybe like 10, 15 seconds, and he doesn't seem to be quick on the uptick, let's say.
Okay.
Hasn't decided what to do yet.
Well, I think it might be a good idea at this point to try and disbelieve an illusion because I'm not entirely sure convinced how much all of this is real or not, and I'm going to try and use my arcane training and my various experiences with illusions to try and disbelieve as much of this as possible to see if it is real or not.
Okay. I would like you to pick a specific thing that you're going to try and disbelieve.
Let's start with the fog.
All right.
All right, so that's an investigation check.
Uh, no, this is an intelligence saving throw.
Okay. All right, that's a total of 25.
You're standing there
Yep. I close my eyes and concentrate.
and you focus your thoughts, focus all your arcane training, and you open your eyes. There's no fog here.
All right. There's no fog at all.
No fog at all.
All right. Are we standing by the crater?
Oh, yeah, there's a hole. It would have been unpleasant to tumble down into that.
All
It'd take some damage, but
right. I see. I whisper to you, it's an illusion. Don't believe what you're seeing before you. The fog isn't real.
I will see if I can master my intelligence.
Yeah.
Not a problem. I said, well, that makes things a lot easier.
So everything else is still here, though?
Well, you decided to focus your mind on whether or not the fog was real,
Yeah.
and you have uh, managed to master your discipline,
Mhm.
and now you do not see the fog. Well, sorry. You do see a vague outline of the fog, but it is not
It's an
small.
illusion now. It's obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious to you it's an illusion. You now see
Mhm.
four other individuals walking around here. They're all various heights of human from about 6.5 feet up to 10. And two of them are carrying what look like glaives. The other two, sorry. One's got a big honking rock in his hand, and the other one is heading towards him at the moment, and doesn't have any weapons at all.
All right. So there seems to be four other participants in this twisted little game.
I would like you to roll, now the fog's not bothering you anymore, a perception check with advantage to look around for a few moments.
Okay. 20 total.
All right, let's see how well you're hiding. Right. You see Mr. I'm on a skateboard,
But we're still moving like that.
still moving like that, heading in a few moments, something else is going to happen. Towards the other tall guy with a rock who's staring at the guy with the glaive who just chased off the other guy with the glaive. Uh, and you also see the guy that's, well, because he's no longer covered by fog, you can see him hiding there. The other individual lost that fight. And you also see, crouched down by one of the buildings, a halfling watching the proceedings.
All right. Well, I point out the halfling to you, and I said, perhaps we should go have a chat with our little friend.
All right. Before that happens,
Yeah.
the skateboard gentleman reaches within, excuse me,
Mhm.
about 20 feet of the guy with the rock. And all of a sudden, you see the face. All of a sudden, you see three glowing eyes appear, one above each other, as he looks at the other one.
So, not human.
The Cyclops, who is the other individual who is ready to throw the rock, looks around and all of a sudden becomes quite placid. And the other individual glides up to him, says something you can't hear, and then they start moving around towards the 8 foot tall guy with the glaive.
All right. Some magic was just used there. I suspect it's controlling that person. Do I recognize whatever that was? Either the what just happened or whatever
Roll an
that thing
Arcana check.
is.
Roll an Arcana check.
All right, 15.
No, you know something happened,
Yeah.
and you're fairly certain it was some form of control, but you're not sure. Like, you didn't see any gesticulations, you didn't see any no verbal commands. You're not sure what it
No, I don't think it was
was.
a spell, but
You're not sure what that was.
hmm.
It is not something you've encountered before. But it's clear that the will of the guy with the rock is now subverted.
All right. So that thing, whatever it is dangerous.
Yeah. So now, if you want, you can wander over to the little halfling dude.
Yes, I think we should go have a chat since he seems to be the one orchestrating this to an extent.
Okay.
Also, I saw the glaive scythe through him, and he wasn't hurt.
All right. We are going to walk over.
Yep.
He hasn't moved. He's basically when uh so we're at the center. Uh we head back towards here. He is in the building over, which is the second building from where we started. Just crouched down watching proceedings here. Doesn't look happy. Something is not going the way he wants it to.
Yeah, I assume he wants to kill us.
All right. As we approach, I would like uh, with advantage stealth checks as we
Yeah.
approach this guy.
16.
I also have a 16. Natural 20. So, sitting there watching this, all of a sudden his head flicks over to exactly where we are, pops over the building, and is gone.
Right.
I love
Let's
it
go.
when the monsters finally do something right.
All right, let's go over to where the wall is.
Yeah.
Do we see him?
Nope. You can do another fresh perception check. No advantage this time.
No advantage.
Nope, because I'm giving you a free one here, basically.
All right. 23.
Nope. Don't see him. He rolled very, very well.
All right.
And, small guys, easy to hide.
We seem to have lost track of him for the moment. He's still my prime suspect for ringmaster of this little circus.
Yep.
Then again, there's whatever that three-eyed thing is.
Speaking of which, Mr. Glidey Three Eyes
Mhm.
and the tall guy with a rock are now approaching the first victor and with the glaive and don't seem to be pleasant about it. Is there anything you want to do before I start this?
Well, as nice as it would be to call out for them to all stop and that they're all being manipulated and that this is all just some twisted game to someone, I'm not entirely convinced any of them would listen at this point. They all seem quite eager.
All right. Well,
Oh, does that mean that the other individual with the glaive is dead?
no, you know where he is. You can see him. They can't see him.
Huh.
He is bleeding
Huh.
and he's trying to, hold his arm and everything. He's definitely bloodied. Still has his glaive, but he's laid it down, so he's trying to hide in the fog that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist, but exists for all of them.
Yes, so he thinks he's safe, and he's watching this.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
just as that idea you had of wondering whether or not this is worth intervening on because they wouldn't listen, all of a sudden that halfling that we misplaced pops up right between them and says, "No, no, this is not what you should be doing. You are not the murderers." And he points right at us and says, "Those two are."
and how do they respond to that? Because
Well,
we are still invisible.
last time they last time they just swung a glaive through. We'll see. Well, Mr. Guy with a rock doesn't even pay attention because he seems to be entranced.
Yeah.
Guy with a glaive looks in our direction. And I would like you to roll a perception check, please.
Perception, that would be 19.
You've just noticed something different. The fog to us is just background noise. It doesn't really pay any attention. But you notice when you look down, there seems to be a swirling pattern around both of us. It's hard for us to see because we've pierced the illusion. But putting two and two together, all of a sudden you realize that we are being marked. And
Okay.
the Hobbit halfling says, "Those two swirling parts, that's where they are." And the guy with the glaive seems to be able to see it. And then there's one more roll to make. No one else seems to have noticed.
All right. Well, that's different.
Yep. And
However, I'm pretty sure that this swirling marked thing you said that happened after the halfling pointed this out.
yes,
So it seems to be his doing.
it appears that we are being targeted. Well, by him anyway.
Yeah.
So far, uh, Mr. Glidey doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, so what is that thing? Do I have a better look at it now?
You see a human.
That has three vertical, that's three eyes vertical.
Nope, has normal eyes.
Okay.
You only saw those three vertical eyes for a split second while it was casting or whatever it was that happened to
Yeah, so
entrance.
dominating the other person.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there's been a few illusions thus far. It could very easily be disguise.
could be. So,
Right, if I move, does this mark thing move with me?
oh yeah, we're targeted.
Okay, that's not good. Not sure how effective that will be when we're invisible.
Gives them a bit of an idea where we are, but it is not. Um, Basically, what it is a validation that the Hobbit or Halfling is not
Involved somehow.
blind, yeah, and somehow can see us, and at least one of the four individuals seems to think that maybe there is something to this claim that the Halfling has, and um, has not yet decided whether to come over and try and attack us or not.
I, I say, I think we should try and capture that halfling and find out what's going on. Clearly, he knows clearly he's able to direct events here a little bit, to a degree, and he seems to know more about what's going on.
All right, yeah, a layout of things.
Yeah.
Two guys heading towards the third guy, halfling in the middle. They've stopped for the moment.
Mhm.
Mr. Won the first battle, Glaive guy, is looking at us with serious suspicion in his eyes, but he also has to worry about these other two, which are coming with definitely malevolent attitude towards him,
Yeah.
and he doesn't know what to do. At the moment, he's kind of edging a little bit away from them and focusing on that spot where we are. And I'm going to see if there's going to be a battle or not. All right, Mr. Glidey holds up a hand, and the other guy stops, and they are just standing there. Halfling guy says, "Yeah, no." All right, he's saying something quietly to the one that seems to be in control. You can't hear it. You can roll a perception check, but it'll be a disadvantage from the distance.
That's still very good. Uh, 23.
Very good.
Yep.
You catch enough of it. He's basically saying, "Look, let the big guy with the glaive go over there, and in short order, I'll be proven right." And the tall guy that seems to glide everywhere is acquiesced.
Yeah, whatever that is. I'm still not convinced it's human, despite what it appears to be.
All
That
right.
was
All right. Mr. Won the first battle glaive guy is coming over towards us very hesitantly. He's holding the glaive in front of him
Yeah.
and he sees the holes, the swirly holes in the mist. And he looks like he's going to get ready to poke one of those holes.
All right. So I would like to move before that happens.
Right. As you, well, he's about 30, 40 feet away at this point.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
I want to go get that halfling.
You'd have to go by him.
Can't go around.
Oh yeah, you can try going around him, but we have buildings on one side of us, crater on the other side. We're currently in the middle. We'd have to go around a building. We
Yeah, let's do
could
that.
get there. Hmm?
Let's do that.
All right. I am going to. I would like you to roll a stealth check. Um, no advantage anymore. Advantage
I am
3.
rolling well on that. 24.
All right. He seems to have lost track of you,
Mhm.
but he hasn't lost track of me.
Oops.
Yeah, I rolled bad. My numbers are so polar, and his suspicions are getting much greater now. He is, as we go around the building, he leaps up on one of the walls and looks like he's ready to pounce on, well, me.
Am I closer to the halfling?
Oh yeah, you're closer now. All right.
All right.
This is what happened. We were roughly about here. This is building number 3. And we came across as he was coming towards us. We started to dodge around building, as we'll call this building number 4 now. You're about here, ready to go around. You can see the halfling. I am still a bit behind you, and he's on this wall. Looks like he's going to jump over it and try and skewer me with a almost 10-foot tall pole arm that looks like a glaive.
Well, glaives aren't meant for skewering things, but okay.
Yeah, well, he seems to be trying to do so. He's using it more like a spear than a glaive at this point.
All
So,
right. Well, I want to get as I'm going to get closer to the halfling and trust that you can take care of yourself at the moment to get with this
okay,
guy.
you are currently about 60 feet away from the halfling. Oh, actually, no, sorry, I've got it scaled wrong. About 100 feet away from the halfling. Mr. Glaive he's going to leap down towards me, and we're going to roll for initiative now.
Okay.
I'm going to put you in the initiative order
Yeah.
because actually, let's just roll it all up.
Yeah. That's probably best.
Because we'll just stick with that initiative order. I think this may go on for a while.
Very middle of the road for me.
And you are, yes. Yeah, let's do it all now because that way it'll save time later.
Yeah.
What'd you roll?
13.
Huh, you rolled better than me. That's unusual. I have a 10. Roll everybody else into this. Ugh, yeah, terrible mess. Believe it or not,
Hmm.
you have the second highest initiative of all these individuals.
All right.
So, as you uh, decide to do what you're going to do, you are you going to quickly run there, or are you going
Well,
to?
I'm not in initiative. Am I up first, or is someone else up first?
No, someone else was up first. They're not doing anything.
All right. Who was that?
That would be the one crouched down, looking like he's trying to stop his bleeding.
The injured guy. Okay, fine. All right. Well, I'm going to move up so that I am 30 feet closer to the halfling.
Yep. So you're now 70 feet from him.
Yeah.
And what would you like to do?
Well, I want to try and interrogate him, basically, but I can't do that at the moment.
No, he has well, two other individuals there that he is relatively close to.
Yes, that is the problem. They seem to be listening to him at the moment.
Yep.
Which again brings up the fact that he seems to be a bit of a ringmaster here of some sort. Well, I could try and take him out non-lethally. But if I do that, I'll be visible.
What would you think about it? What was your thought?
Sleep was my initial idea.
You have sleep prepared?
I do, yes.
Alright. You are within range. Oh, wait, what is the range on sleep?
Range of sleep is 90 feet, so yes, I am within range.
So you're good. And yes, will be visible.
I will be visible, yes. Your invisibility will be maintained, but you're marked at the moment, and someone seems to be aware of where you are. Well, as concerned as I am about the giant and whatever that floating three-eyed thing is, the halfling does seem to be the one in charge.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to try and center a high-level sleep spell on the halfling, and I'm going to try and center the radius of the spell in such a way that it catches none of the other combatants that I see in it.
Not a problem. There's about a good 10-foot gap between him and the others.
All right, it's a 20-foot radius. No, it's a 10-foot radius sphere, I believe. So yeah, I can keep that.
No problem.
All right,
What level are you casting a spell at?
that is what I'm going to be figuring out at the moment. So that's the basic level right there. It's not going to be enough for that, I suspect. I don't even know if this is going to work or not. Alright. As much as a waste as it probably seems, I'm going to cast a 4th level sleep spell on the halfling.
Alright.
Alright, so it starts at 5d8 and then 2 additional d8 for every level, so that brings me up to 11d8. So I'm going to have to re-roll one of these in a moment.
Alright.
Because I only have 10.
That's fine.
Okay, a lot of those numbers are high.
One of those numbers is high.
I said a lot of those numbers are high. I'm doing math. Alright, and one more. And literally is one more. Alright.
Total of
48.
Alright. This is what
Cast
happens.
the spell, sending out the unseen wave of weariness at the halfling and trying to enchant him to sleep, at which point I become visible.
You become visible. And the spell hits him. He blinks for a second, looks at you, and says, "See, there he is."
So it looked like the spell like affected him, but it wasn't powerful enough.
Yeah.
All right.
So this might confuse somebody. Let's see how confused you, because you can see two. You can see a target now.
My one thing I'm going to say before I end my turn is yes, but not many murderers try to use sleep spells. I say.
You actually say that?
Yeah, I'll say that aloud. I'm invisible at this point. There's not much point. See if anyone else cares.
Well, the guy on top of the building right here.
Yeah.
It's like a cat with standing near a window and sees a target, and he's focused on it. His focus is on me.
Yeah.
And let's see what Mr. Glides thinks, because the other guy isn't thinking at all.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned about that.
He looks at you. You see a smirk on his face.
That's never a good sign.
And he folds his arms and just stands there.
All right.
Guy with a rock is just standing
Just waiting
there.
for instructions.
Yeah. And
The halfling is trying to convince.
Halfling looks at him.
I mean,
Seems to come to some kind of resignation.
yeah.
And then looks at the guy on the top of the building and says, "Yeah, get him now."
Okay. What about the injured guy? Because I still have a vague idea where he is.
Oh, yeah. He's actually really close to you at the moment.
Yep. Well, I just cast a non-harmful spell.
Yep. He
A pretty easy to recognize one too.
sees you.
Yep.
And at the moment doesn't seem to be wanting to do anything.
All right. Well, I did my turn. My spell failed, but let's hope it had a bit of a convincing effect on everyone.
Alright. I am next in the initiative order.
Oh wow, they all really rolled badly.
Oh, this is terrible. I told you, my numbers have been horrible. I get the
Wow.
odd natural 20 and the rest are all this crap.
You have someone about trying to pounce on you and impale you with a pole arm.
Yeah,
Imagine you don't want that to happen.
I'm pretty sure I don't want that to happen. Question is, I don't really want to prove you wrong.
Yes, but you have non-lethal spells. No, I don't. This is perhaps a belated question, but do I have to roll a persuasion check for my comment about?
Too late. I forgot to
Well-
task you.
Do you want me to do it now or?
Nope, already been done.
Okay.
I already rolled all the numbers. Your argument was actually logical, so I didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
All right. I have two things I can do. One of which is completely non-lethal.
Yeah, I assume that's polymorph.
Yeah. And the other could become lethal if things go bad. I think I'm gonna go that route because it's my favorite spell.
Ah, you're casting Bigby's hand.
I'm gonna cast Bigby's hand.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have it grapple this big tall dude. So it'll be a contested strength check. And I'm not going to try and squish him like it can be done. I'm just going to try and hold him.
Yeah.
That's not bad. And what are you gonna do, buddy? Oh, I wouldn't even bother looking up your strength check. That's a 4. Alright, I seem to have grappled him.
Yep. And now you are visible as well.
I'm visible.
Yep.
And I also pipe up. See? Not killing him.
Mhm.
All right. That's me. All right. Next up in the order is Mr. Glidey.
Yep. So
Has a big smile on his face at this point and is looking at the halfling. The other one beside him is not doing anything. He's next in the order.
yeah.
Then we come to the one I have grappled. He's going to try and break free. Unsuccessfully. And then we come to the last in the order.
Which was the halfling, I believe.
And he's really not happy. He looks at me, and you see him cast a spell.
Alright, I'm definitely going to try and determine what that is.
Alright, roll an Arcana check. You're not doing anything at the moment, so you can have this regular roll.
Okay. Unfortunately, I rolled low. 12.
This is actually a relatively low level spell.
Alright.
You have seen me cast it. It has been a while. Page. Let's see what the DC is here. He is casting Phantasmal Force on me.
A conundrum for me. I could counter that spell easily.
Oh yeah, wouldn't take any effort at all.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a spell slot. However, it's also intelligence saving throw, which you are good at. On the other hand, you've been rolling really badly.
Yeah, true enough.
Uh,
While you're having a conundrum,
what? Oh,
oh, easily shrug it off.
okay. So, I waited too long, did I?
Yeah, well, these things are happening relatively quickly. Alright, we are now back to the top of the round.
Yeah.
The loser of the first battle
Yeah.
stands up, walks over to you.
Yeah.
And he's speaking to you, but in a language you don't understand.
All right. Well, I do not have comprehend languages prepared, nor tongues at the moment, so that's going to have to wait.
I would like you to roll an Arcana check, please.
Natural one.
You do not recognize the language.
All right.
He stops talking after a few seconds. Seems kind of frustrated, but he does nothing else he can do. He's just sort of leaning there on his polearm.
Yeah.
And now we're at you.
This. All right. This. Clearly, we're stuck in someone's twisted game here. This halfling seems to be in control of events to a degree. So just to add a bit more proof to my words, I'm going to give you all a little bit of help here. This mist is an illusion. If you have the mental will and discipline to do so, you can disbelieve it and see for yourself that there is no fog around us. My vision is unobscured, as is my friend's here.
Alright, I will not bother rolling for you, because you are not even of your own free will at the moment. You, on the other hand... The Mr. Glidey now is grinning from ear to ear. You're not going to do anything.
Still not entirely sure I trust that guy.
The guy standing beside you, who's bleeding.
He understood me?
Yeah.
Speaks, understands common, but doesn't speak it. Okay.
Yeah, I know. This is weird, eh? Uh, shakes his head and is confused now. He doesn't know what you're talking about. And it's hard to tell what the guy that's inside my Bigby's hands
He's
thinks.
probably just incensed at the moment.
Yeah, he's actually really, really beginning to lose his cool.
And the halfling, I assume, has some degree of knowledge of what's going on here.
Well, I would
And
like to
doesn't care about my comments, apart from trying to refute them, possibly.
roll an insight check on him.
Alright, 16.
It was not a revelation to him.
No. So he's aware of what's going on. So I think he... So, the evidence is stacking up against him, basically.
Yep. Are you going to do anything else on your turn? I would call that your bonus action.
Alright, well, I'm going to try and convince them all, says, I think we all need to calm down, put our weapons away, and ask some serious questions to this little one here and find out exactly what's going on. Because I, for one, am not being manipulated in anyone's sadistic game. I don't know if you want me to roll a persuasion check at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, what portents do I have? Yeah, I think this is important, so I'm going to use one of my portents.
All right. What was the number?
So the number was a 17. My charisma brings up to an 18, so that's what the roll is.
Okay. That is a very good roll.
Yep. And what I'm asking for is reasonable, especially with all the evidence we brought up at this point.
Nice. First off, the halfling seems to be incensed, getting very angry.
Well, admittedly I am blaming him for a lot of this, but he does seem to be the one directing all of this. The only other possible suspect really is
Mr. Glidey?
Mr. Floaty with 3 eyes and mind controlling people.
Well,
Who is really enjoying all this.
funny thing is, he is still seeming to enjoy all this. He is not doing anything violent.
No.
The guy standing beside you, who wasn't doing anything violent either, doesn't seem to have changed his body language.
One person's mind controlled.
One person doesn't have any free will, and the other one, trapped inside my Bigby's hand, is just wanting to kill something. He's
You
just
specifically.
infuriated. And I don't think you convinced him of anything even on that 20. He's struggling with all his might. Now, I'm going to say to you, because now it's my turn.
Yeah.
This is not going to last forever.
No.
What do you want me to do? We can't reason with this individual.
I don't know, we could tie him up, possibly? Restrain him some other way? That isn't going to expire after a spell runs out?
He looks really strong.
Yep.
He's 8 feet tall. And I don't think you and I can handle him in one-on-one. The only thing holding him back is my massively strong Bigby's hand at the moment.
Alright.
And we are now in round
2.
2.
So we have 8 more rounds, so we have time to try and figure this out.
Yeah. So I will just do nothing then.
Alright.
Except restrain him. So we are going to come up to... Everyone else seems to be willing to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to roll for him to break free.
And I imagine we'll have the halfling who's going to be up to something.
And then we'll see what Mr. Tiny is going to do. Yeah, they're not going to do anything. So, you're not going to do anything. You can't do anything. And it's all on you. What is your strength? Oh, that's not bad. Alright. Roll. Ooh, you have a chance. That's a good number. What's the plus on the Bigby Sand again?
+8, I believe.
Really close. Can you look that up, please? Because so far I'm only winning by 1.
Grasping hand up in one second. It doesn't say anything on there about the hand's strength.
Really? I thought it did say what it was.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to. Oh. Maybe D&D Beyond has moved over to the new rules.
Oh, yeah.
His hand has a strength of 26, which is +8.
Alright. I barely managed to hang on. So, at the bottom of round 2,
Yeah.
a very insensate halfling
Yeah.
looks at me and casts a spell.
Alright, I'm definitely trying to figure out what this one is again.
Alright, Arcana check, please.
I keep rolling really, really poorly on that. 11.
You have not seen the spell before.
Alright,
You don't know what it is.
no. I am going to attempt to counter it.
Alright.
At 3rd level, just as base level, because I don't know what spell level to cast at.
Alright, that will require a roll.
Oh, 13?
Not good enough.
So for the first time in quite a long time, I bring up the rippling blue destructive energy for as a cast counter spell, and it fails.
And it fails. The spell goes off,
Yes.
and I will roll my saving throw. Ugh, that will not make it. Actually, maybe it will. Hold on a sec. What's your spell save DC? I get... No. Never mind. That makes it.
So you succeed?
I succeed as my mind fills with true horrors.
Okay, so I assume that was some other illusion spell. So I don't see anything really happen.
I'm not sure. I think he just tried to cast Phantasmal Killer on me. But not sure. My roll is borderline.
Alright.
That was overwhelming, almost. But, fortunately, I didn't take any damage, so I don't have to roll a concentration check.
No. So I assume the halfling's really unhappy at this point.
Yeah, he's now tried to cast spells on me twice, and failed both times. Oh yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
Alright, we are now... he seems to be backing up, trying to get away.
All right. So top of the round now.
Top of the round,
All right.
which is
The injured man.
the guy standing beside you. Let's see. Are you gonna do anything? I mean, he's really hurt. Actually, he is. He's decided to do something.
Mhm.
He leaps forward and he's going to try and stab the little guy.
Okay.
And misses.
And misses. All right. So my turn then.
You're up now.
Right. Well, I want to keep the halfling with range. I'm going to say, we need to apprehend this halfling.
Okay.
And all right, sleep did not work very well. I cast at a very high level, so I think I need to use a different option here. I am getting more and more frustrated with this halfling, but I don't think I quite want to kill him. Yeah, especially since it ruins the whole finding out what's going on here.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
Polymorph has a saving throw. All right, I think it's time to try a new high-level spell. Let's see how how gifted with magic this halfling actually is.
All right.
Cast quite a few illusion spells, but let's. It's all right. So like, I think it's time you stay where you are. I say, and I'm going to take out from my bag of holding a clear gemstone. And I'm going to cast a spell, and as I cast a spell, the gemstone shatters into dust, and I cast Wall of Force.
Okay.
All right. So it's the first time casting the spell, so give me a moment. I have to bring up my spell book because it's in there, and apparently D&D Beyond is not reliable.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to use that going forward.
Yeah, well, there are other things. All right. So I'm well within range because range of 120 feet. So I create an invisible wall of force, which brings me to the point to choose. I want it around the halfling, obviously.
Yep. I assume he gets a dex save on this.
No, he doesn't. I'm not targeting him.
Interesting.
Yep. All right. I'm going to create a hemispherical dome, basically, of it. So, concave sphere on top, but I want to fill the space underneath with the wall of force as well. So it's not just like... So it's like...
Yeah.
Yeah. So the entire...
An actual sphere,
yeah,
but part of it's underground.
No, I just want, like, I want the floor
Oh, okay, I got you now.
be made of the wall of force, just in case you can tunnel or anything.
Tunnel.
Yeah.
Then you don't want a hamster ball because he might roll away.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it says I can do that. Yeah, hemispherical dome, so that's what I want.
Okay, so
It's got a 10-foot radius, it says.
is there any no saving throw you said?
No, wall of force doesn't have a saving throw because it's not targeting him really. It's just I'm just casting it in the area space around him.
Okay. So magic can pass through this, correct?
Yes, he can teleport out of it. Nothing can physically pass through a wall of force.
Right.
If he can teleport like Misty Step or anything like that, he can get out. I don't know if he can. This is my attempt to try and keep him contained for the moment.
That would be your turn.
Yes. I'm going to say to him, I suggest you stop trying to run away, and you stop trying to cast spells on my friend. No. For the moment, by the way, until anyone interacts with it, the wall of force is invisible.
Alright.
So he may not even be aware of what's going on yet.
Well, it's not his turn.
Yeah.
So we won't worry about that for the moment.
Yeah, you're up next.
I'm up next. So we're still trying to do this peacefully. I hang on
Well,
to
I am.
I hang on to the guy I'm hanging on to. There's nothing for me to do at this turn because I'm not trying to squish him. So we pass through my turn. And we come up to you. You are interesting. You can do things.
No, was this?
Mr. Glidey.
Yeah, him.
He is going to try and do something.
I definitely don't trust that thing, I guess.
Yes. He's decided to do something.
To whom?
Well, he's not looking at you. He's looking at the little guy. And
He's in a wall of force, but that may not matter.
two things are happening here. First off, you see that line of three eyes glow for a second.
Yeah. Are they're independent of his normal two eyes?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Interesting. And the other thing is the other really tall guy is now looking at the halfling who is raising the rock. This turns on up here.
Okay. Well, the wall of force will prevent that, at least.
Yep. So, all of a sudden, you see the halfling kind of just become listless for a second.
Okay, and the giant with the rock still seems to be obeying the other creature.
Yeah.
Okay, he can dominate multiple things. That's interesting.
Yep. So, we now seem to have possibly the halfling under control.
Yep, or something else. Yeah, it wasn't entirely comfortable around whatever that thing is. Not.
And the really, really tall guy flings the rock. I won't bother rolling because it goes shatters on your
Wall of force. Which shimmers into existence like a blue force field.
Yeah,
As it
and
does.
all of a sudden when that happens, Mr. Glidey looks at you. You may want to try rolling an insight check on that.
Insight? Okay.
Yep.
18.
He seems to have decided that to keep an eye on you.
Yeah, also, my hand is still probably outstretched from casting the spell.
Yeah. So, yeah. So then we come to Mr. Struggling inside a Big B's hand. Nothing about it. My bonuses are better than that roll.
Yeah.
He's getting tired, but he's still really not just insensitive.
Alright, that leaves the halfling, I believe.
Yes. And he's just standing there.
Yeah, so he's been stunned or controlled or something.
Just standing there.
Yeah. Alright, before we go to the next round, it's past the 2-hour mark, so this might be a good place to stop.
Not just yet.
Nope.
Nope. Shortly.
Okay.
Round 4.
Round 4. So we have the injured individual, whom I'm not sure if he can do anything through my wall of force.
Nope. I would like you to roll a perception check, please, because something's going to happen.
Alright. Oh, for crying out loud, why did I roll so badly now? 10!
It's the DC, so it's okay.
Okay.
Something weird happens.
Something weird happens now after everything else.
Yep. He's standing there. He took a swing at him, and then all that other stuff happened. And all of a sudden, he drops his glaive.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, another glaive seems to have teleported into his hand. And
Oh no.
it's now glowing quite brightly and has black and red sigils all over it. And roll this for a second.
I take it I recognize this weapon.
You could roll, but I'll give you advantage on it.
What was this? Intelligence?
Yeah.
16?
Oh, that's enough.
Yeah.
DC's not high. We've seen this thing before.
Yeah, many times.
Yep. The bad penny is now showing up.
Oh, great.
And all of a sudden, the individual that was sort of on our side
Going to probably attack me.
is turned around and has literally got blood rage. And he's going to attack you. Now, take our break.
Alright, well, I cannot exactly say that this took me by surprise.
Yeah, well, would have happened earlier, but he was in a big bee's hand.
Alright, yep, break time.